Good morning. Today I've had a plethora of things in my mind. Um, One thing I would like to talk about today is, your environment and the people that you're around and how it affects everything around you. I've said this before. You are who you hang around. Um, and this is really for those who, because I have a different group of people, different stages of people who are in recovery. Or see, you could be in recovery and it have nothing to do with drugs. We're always in recovery, everybody. Recovery from whatever trauma, whatever addictions don't have to be substances. And here's the thing, you always can go back to whatever you came from. So if you come from a certain neighborhood, you really can always go back to that. And the problem with that is that in order to move up to be successful, you have to learn. The reason that you can go back real quick, the reason you can go back to these places is because you know the language of that area. You know the language, how things flow there. And if you're really trying to do something different, you're trying to break this mold, you have to start learning the language of whatever area you're trying to go, whatever place you're trying to go. You have to really study and learn the language. That way you can, you can't, like I said, I can't be on level 1 and go to level 3 and take up things with me from level 1 to level 3 and expect to be able to maneuver around level 3. And I think that when it comes to getting clean and sober, because there's a difference between sobriety and recovery. I think for me, at least, when it came to getting sober, I had to leave what I was comfortable and familiar with, my stomping grounds. And I know people say, well, there's drugs everywhere or whatever, and addictions follow you. That's true, they do. However, it makes it easier on the mind, on the spirit, first of all, whenever you move to a new place, it brings this sort of excitement, right? Because you're in a new place. So you're seeing new things, and which puts out a vibration of enthusiasm. And when you're excited about stuff, that means you're grateful for it, believe it or not. There's some gratefulness in there. And when you can start carrying that energy, just in itself starts helping transmute these old negative emotions, these old undesirable attributes you have. I think it's very important that when it comes to trying to upgrade yourself, that you be very consciously aware of what it is that you're ingesting, whatever you're taking in, which is not just food or whatever you're putting in your body, but also whatever your visuals taking in, what you're hearing, the conversations that you have with certain people. So it's important that, somebody told me, a youngster told me this in prison, and it made so much sense. He said, sit in a room with 4 millionaires and you might end up being the 5th. And in other words, what it's saying is, if I'm spending time, I'm trying to get this is a scenario. Say I'm trying to get sober, but I'm still on the phone. I'm still going around the same people that I used with that are going through the same things. That means our conversations are going to be geared around the same thing, and there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to maintain that sobriety. So the point and the goal is to try to network with people that are doing what you want to do, where you want to go. And in turn, and here's the thing, like, I understand it's uncomfortable going around and being in places where you don't feel like you don't see a familiar face. None of the conversations are geared towards what you're used to, just fake it until you make it. Continually put yourself in that environment, and what will happen is you will start adapting to that environment. All animals do this. It's an evolution. It's like level up. And so I'm going through a situation right now where a relationship situation where we had such history that it almost seems impossible for us to kind of start anew. You know what I'm saying? And this has been heavily on my mind about the people that I'm around and the places I'm around. Sometimes it hurts to just really back away from somebody. Sometimes you have to, if you want to go somewhere where you've never gone before, a lot of people don't want to go there. That's not their goal. That's your goal. And so one of the things I'm learning is to just say, okay, I'm going to this place, but you're not ready for that, or that's not what you want to do. So I have to leave you behind. That's not me abandoning you. That's not me saying that I'm better than you. That's me saying I'm trying to do this and you're doing this. And they're not functioning well together. So in turn, because I'm on this path that's really not for everybody, I have to cut you loose. I have a lot of friends that are back home that are still struggling, but when I talk to them, I could tell that they're tired of what they've been doing, and it gets to the point where you have to say that that's enough. Like they say that they're tired of it and they want change, but they're not doing anything to change, and I've been there. I've been stuck in that stagnant water. It got to the point for me where I couldn't even breathe anymore. Like it was not going to end up well. And I want to live, but I don't just want to live. I want to thrive. I want to be wealthy. So there was a few things that I suggest, if any of my friends are still listening to that, relocate. If you're in the middle of addiction, you're struggling every day to get drugs. You're living from hotel to hotel, right? You don't have no friends, because the truth of the matter is most of them, like, I don't have any friends. Like, I'm one of the few people that they consider a friend, which is I feel very honored, by the way, by being able to be in that category, because I used to not be able to. It was complete opposite. But what I'm saying is this: you're already living the nomad life, okay? So, and most of them are very street smart, or very survival savvy as far as the basics go. Pick up and move somewhere that you don't know, but don't just pick up and move and say, okay, well, I got $800, I'm going to go stay at a hotel here and trap out there. Look before you go. Look before you jump, right? Find a rehab. There's rehabs in every city. Find a detox, and go from there. The thing is people are like, well, this program sucks, this program sucks, this program sucks. Well, your perception's your reality, and that's also the same with when you perceive things. Perception is not just like how you're perceiving things in your mind. It's also how you see things and perceive them. So this goes with paying attention to who you're around, the conversations that you're having. This is important. The words that the stuff that we talk about with other people really do affect areas of our life, our outer areas and our internal areas. Because what it does is it affects our internal dialogue, right? And so I practiced, and I still do this. I practice having conversations with myself all the time, with spirit all the time. I mean, full on conversations. I can visually see them and also hear them, and I'm in tune with them. I can feel the vibration. So for those that are still struggling, there's gonna have to come a point where you're just you just have to say enough is enough. What you're doing is not working, okay? And you're either going to continue in that, and that's just going to be your story forever. And most of you got kids, which is unfortunate because some of you will fall into that category, or you're going to break the generational curse, break the curse, the addiction curse, right? So that it doesn't continue to the next generation. I know for a fact that if you truly mean it and your desire is to truly get clean and sober, the universe will provide for you things, outlets. So, in other words, you have a strong desire to get clean and sober, and it's in your voice. So, in other words, you're carrying that vibrational frequency when you talk. Any place you call that has to do with recovery base, maybe not any place, but the first one might turn you down, but the second one won't. You have to keep trying. You have to keep calling these places. Somebody will take you, even without insurance, even not being from that state. And I know this is a fact because I've done it in 4 or 5 states. You show up to the hospital. You tell them, look, I'm struggling with addiction. I'm struggling with mental health. They will in turn hold you for a 2-week hold, but they'll put you in a facility. While you're in that facility, you talk to your caseworker. You tell your caseworker, hey, look, I need to get into drug treatment. Your caseworker will set this up. That's how it works. You can't just expect to go somewhere and get right into the nicest rehab or jump into a rehab. Like you have to follow the steps. But here's the thing. That process that I just talked about is 45 days. So in 45 days, you could totally reinvent yourself. Most of us do that all the time. Like we have, especially street people, especially people in prison. I had to do it in prison. You reinvent yourself constantly. So what's 45 days for the next how many years of your life? Give yourself a chance. It's damn near impossible. And I don't like to say the word impossible. I actually crossed it out in my dictionary. But it's impossible to be in the middle of an addiction. I'm talking about everyday use, hard use, and then just say, oh, I'm going to do it on my own. I remember how many times I used to say that all the time. Well, I'm just going to, I'm going to go fucking rob my plug because the next day I'm not using no more anyways. It don't matter. I'm going to go steal from this person because I'm not going to need them anyways because I'm not going to use, and then be fucked. You know what I'm saying? You need help. You have to ask for help. And that also goes with who you are around affects what you're doing, And also putting yourself around the right people will help us so that you don't drown. Because right now, I'm sure it feels like you're drowning. That's how I felt all the time, like I was drowning. And, you have to learn how to swim. But I know that some of my videos, I will say the same thing, just in a different way. And there's a reason for that, because my videos, like I said, they're for me and others, but mainly for me. It's been a huge help for me to be able to express what I need to say, because sometimes I can't go to a meeting. You know what I mean? This is like my meeting. Sometimes I can't say what I want to say to people because you can't just walk into a conversation and be like, hey, let's talk about recovery. You get what I'm saying? So, for those watching, I also encourage that it's very good to write things down, and I have a hard time with that. That's why I do this. Right? This is like me writing things down. This is me recording my thoughts. So I wanted to touch base on that today. And sometimes, like I said, I'll say things that don't make sense to some that will make sense to others. But that's, like I said before, because I'm different, and that's good. I'm glad to be different. I like being different, but love, peace, prosperity, ashe. Have a good day.